And welcome back to another episode of Café Lily with your hosts, Rosa and Kelsey. Kelsey and Rosa.
Hello, Rosa. We've been a bit busy lately, haven't we? Not a lot of time in the day for Yuri.
Absolutely. But when you get that moment, you go for it.
It's so true. We only have one Yuri on the agenda for today, but...
Well, that's what you think.
Oh, that's what I... You've got a mystery Yuri?
Ooh, a handful.
Oh my goodness. We haven't done a mystery Yuri in a long time. Okay, well, let's get right into it then.
Alright.
Okay, first I guess we'll do the one that both of us watched, because we both watched the first 3 episodes of Whisper Me a Love Song, which is adapted from a manga by Eku Takeshima.
And it is left a very strong impression.
Yeah, you messaged me about it. You were like, Kelsey, you have to watch this one right now. And then I watched the first episode. I was like, yeah, that was pretty good. He said, no, you have to watch the next 2 episodes as well.
Because all those 3 together, there you go. That's what we're working it with. That's what we know what we're dealing with.
Yeah, these girls, they're in a situation, huh?
Oh, such a situation. So, our main character, Himari Kino, enters into her first day of high school with her friend. Her and her friend goes into the opening ceremony, and there, that's where she first spotted Yuri Asunage, who is leading in the band and song. She's leading the band and singing the vocals. And when she saw her, she fell in love and really wanted to get closer with her.
Yeah, she describes herself, Himari does, as being in love at first sight.
Which means a lot. That's like, wow.
So Yuri, the guitarist for the band, was doing it sort of begrudgingly. She doesn't actually want to be there, but she was kind of roped into it by her friends.
All because she loves Cat.
Yeah, they bribed her. They bribed her with a little cat purse.
And they promised her more merch.
Yes, Yuri also composes original songs, and the band say, oh, that's awesome, you should write us a song. Actually, we really want to perform a love song, so can you please write us a love song? And Yuri says there's an issue with that. She's never been in love, so the rest of the band say, well, just go and fall in love then.
Like it's that simple.
It could be that simple.
And it was that simple for her. Because one of the bandmates is a bassist, Aki Mizuguchi. Now, Aki here, her sister is friends with Himari Kino. And she gets word that, hey, she's really into her. We also saw that from an encounter between Yuri and Himari was that Himari was really happy to see Yuri, and Yuri's like flabbergasted and it's like, oh my god.
Yes, Himari runs into Yuri by chance, and she says, oh my god, that was an amazing performance. I fell in love. And Yuri goes, huh? And she starts to realize maybe she fell in love as well.
And when her friends ask, are you in love with her? She's like, oh, she was cute. And then they all started going crazy and said, go for it. So she does. So they meet together again at the top of the building. And she expressed her feelings.
Oh.
But there was only one problem. Himari was in love. But she was in love with Yuri's performance and music.
Yeah, Himari mentions before the performance that she's never seen live music before. This was the first time she saw live music. So she wasn't really in love with Yuri, she was just in love with the idea of live performances, I guess.
Yeah, and the performance that Yuri gave.
Yeah, she was so cool. She was playing the guitar, she was singing. Himari thought it was the coolest thing in the world. She'd never seen someone do that before.
Yeah, she is like all over her though, so.
Yes, so there's been a critical misunderstanding between the two.
But that doesn't stop them from hanging out. And from then on there, they go on, quotation, a date. And they just have a wonderful time together. And by the end of it, Yuri let out her heart to Himari. That she loves her romantically. And Himari wasn't sure how to respond to that. She never was in love with anyone. She just thought love was just casual. The way she expressed love is just like platonically. So she never understood romance for the longest time. And she needed time to think about what Yuri said. And how many days did it took here?
4 days.
4 days.
4 days between Yori's confession and Himari making up her mind as to how she's going to respond.
Yeah. I mean, fair enough. Well thought out, at least.
Yeah, at least she's putting effort into it. I think that's what Yori said, actually.
So what was her conclusion, Kelsey? Tell me.
Her conclusion was that she is going to spend more time with Yuri and find out what her true feelings are. She's just going to see how it goes. Maybe it will develop into a romantic love. Maybe she just really admires her as a senpai and likes her as a friend. But she's going to find out.
And Yuri was happy with that. But she makes a declaration. I'm going to make you fall in love with me. Something like that.
That's kind of where we left off.
Yeah.
But I definitely want to watch more of this.
In between watching it and starting the episode, I heard there was a bit of controversy with the way the episodes were produced.
Oh, really?
Yeah, apparently this one has a lot of like production issues. So as they say, as it goes along, it doesn't look as good as it did in the first episode.
Oh, I have to be completely honest. I didn't notice.
Well, I just heard about this recently, and this is for like later episodes we haven't watched. This is what I've been reading. So if the quality dips and it's very noticeable, we might want to go for reading it.
Yeah. I might like to do that anyway. I honestly prefer reading manga over watching anime, but you insisted that we have to watch this one, so I gave it a chance and it was really good.
Yeah, it really was, because I hear a lot of talks about like Yuri anime this season. This one being the most notable Yuri anime, because the other choices, I couldn't find any confirmation they were full on Yuri or going that Yuri direction, but there were 2 other animes I hope to check out later. Girls Band Cry and Jellyfish Can't Swim in Night, which is another anime about a band, it seems. I think it is. I can't seem to get a grasp on it, but I'm interested in watching that.
You'll have to let me know once you check them out.
Of course. Back to Whisper Me a Love Song. It was a fun time. I enjoyed what I watched. I like that little slow burn of like seeing and try to figure out, but it's very straightforward too.
Yeah, it's interesting that way. I mean, after we watched it, I had told you that slow burn is generally not my thing, but I think I'm interested enough in all the characters that I'd want to keep going with this one. I think the characters are really strong. I really like the friendship between Yuri and Aki, the bassist in the band, and there's something going on between them.
Yes, absolutely. It's like, yeah, I was in love. Flashback. Now, another pair I hope to see more of is that little rich girl Mari, who's the drummer, and Kore. They're really funny. They're very close, and she's sort of like, "Oh, I love you, Mari," and Mari's like, "Yeah, yes, no, whatever." Like, they're very close. Clearly, yeah, you can see just Mari just sitting on Corey's lap. They're that casual. They're that close.
Well, you know what? Anything could happen. I think that it could work between those two, but I also think that maybe they might not know that they are gay in the moment.
Ren is ready to think about it, the other one isn't. I'm not saying which is which. Figure that out for yourself, and whatever you guess might be wrong.
Who's to say?
Who's to say?
Yes, I think I'm definitely going to try and pick up the manga for this one. Has it been licensed in English?
It has to be.
Yep, looks like it has. Good God.
What happened?
It's been going on for so long. There are 8 volumes.
Yep, 9.
9. Oh my goodness, I didn't realize it's been going on for that long.
Yeah, you know. Yuri gets picked up a little later, and they got a lot to work with, so.
Nice, nice. Okay, well, I'm definitely going to check it out then.
Now, I want to do a bit of a quick round, because in spite of Kelsey only reading or watching one Yuri, I have a bit of a handful. Simple one-shots. Alright, first things first. So, I found this in Dynasty Reader, and it's called A Yuri Manga That Starts with a Girl Getting Rejected in a Dream by Hijiki. Now, this was a short series of online manga about these 2 childhood friends, Tsukoshi and Hinako. In Tsukoshi's dream, she saw her friend rejecting her as her girlfriend, and she freaked out, but it was only a dream. And it made her ponder a lot, like, why does it affect me so much? It was only a dream. Why am I so sad? And slowly, this will develop into her feeling self-conscious around her friend, Hinako. And a bit of antics ensue where she's trying to get close to her, understand her feelings, and it seems like they both have feelings for each other. Now, there's only 9 chapters of this.
Okay, how long are the chapters?
They're pretty short. Either between like some would last between like 4 pages, 2 or 3. Very short. Just little antics like, oh, we're friends, right? We could like hold hands, right? Overall, it's still a pretty fun time. And good news, everyone. This stops at chapter 9 because there is a serialization of it.
Ooh. Well, congratulations to the author. I'll have to keep an eye out for that one in the future.
Yes, so the serial version is called Our Yuri Started With Me Getting Rejected in a Dream. And it seems like it's still ongoing. Enjoy.
Oh, is that the only one shot that you read, or were there others?
There was another.
Okay.
I did kind of skim through a bit of Love in the Next Life by Kotoka, which is a weird one. In one lifetime, these 2 couples were in love, but because of different social standings, they decided we'll fall in love in the next life. So they will later be reincarnated. Now, previously one was like a guy, but now he becomes a woman in the next lifetime, and it becomes a bit eerie. It's very short. It's very okay. Okay. That was a little fun. So I guess check it out if you're interested. No strong attachment. It's just like, oh, that's a funny concept.
It seems like there are a lot of those. There are a lot of short Yuri that just have a particularly strong concept but don't particularly go anywhere.
Right, it's just short. Now, I want to talk about these 2 doujinshis by Aoki Ume.
Oh yeah, isn't that the character designer for Madoka Magica?
Yes. Now, one is a doujinshi they have called EtceterA. But yeah, it's very short, it's very simple. It's just like a little book where little doujin where she talks about where she's thanking the buyer for getting it. Her thoughts on like Miku, Monster Hunter, and maids with big boobs. And then there's a Yuri after that. A little Yuri about 2 friends named Minema and Ren. And she says she pretty much just like wanted to write like a love confession thing. So there it is in the EtceterA, which was sold in Comet Market 79. Ooh. But the real meat of this, did you know that Aoki Ume made a hard catch Yuri?
Wait, really?
Yes.
I had no idea.
See, this was sold back in Uppercut 2010. Hardcatch Precure Fanbook. It is an Erica X Spoonie Yuri. Very rare. But it starts out with Tsufumi She's humming a little tune, watering the flowers. And then Erica's just staring at her. And Sasbooney asks, "Hey Erica, why are you staring?" And then Erica freaks out a bit, like, "Oh no, nothing special really. I'm just a little distracted. I just drifted off a bit, right, Culfred?" And Culfred asks, "Please keep me out of this," to Erica. And later on at school, Tsubomi's friend tells her, "You know, Erica's probably hiding something from you." So Tsubomi asks Erica, "Is there anything wrong? Please tell me." And Erica said, "You know, there's nothing causing me grief or anything. I'm just enjoying the peace. Don't worry, Tsubumi." And her Tatsu revealed that, "Because if I tell you, you would stop humming. If you knew people were listening to you hum." Now, that's a bit of a simplification of what went on, but it's very sweet. It's very interesting to see a Motoka artist do a Precure Dungeon. Also, wow, this feels out of character for Erica. She seems a little sensitive.
Yeah, I have never known Erica to enjoy the piece.
Exactly. It's very sweet and very funny. Now, as a little bonus, I like to recommend a Yuri music video.
Oh yeah.
This is from a YouTube channel called Kirameki Inokori Daisenso. And this is a little music video about these two rivals. They're polar opposite. One smart girl and the other jock. And throughout the music video, they're just kind of finding it out, trying to compete with who is better. Brains or bronze, or better, whatever they're doing. It's very sweet. It's about 5 minutes long and really good. And it's definitely Yuri because it comes from the same channel that apparently has done some Toho Yuri music, so check it out.
Yeah, well, you can always count on the Toho fans.
Of course. I mean, quoting that one post, "For years I've been reading Toho on the Yuri website and I didn't know." So check that out. We'll definitely get a link in the description.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, what else is on the docket, Kelsey?
It is coming up on a year since we started Café Lily, and I thought that it would just be nice to reminisce and look back and think about some of the Yuri that we've enjoyed in that time and what's changed in that time, and also think about how this podcast even got started, because Rosa has said that she doesn't remember how we decided to start a Yuri podcast.
Yeah, I don't really remember. I don't know what was the process. I knew I wanted to talk about Yuri, and I knew I asked Kelsey, but I didn't know the details.
Well, I don't know what your thought process was, but I do remember how you pitched it to me, so I'll tell that story in a minute. But let's first talk about some of the Yuri that we've enjoyed for this podcast. I mean, we've done our top 3 ranking already. We did that at the start of the year, but is there anything in particular that really stands out to you as being life-changing in some way?
Run Away With Me Girl, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, I wouldn't say life-changing, but life-appreciating. I really love reading She Loves to Cook, She Loves to Eat.
Yeah, definitely. We gotta get back on that.
Yeah, Volume 4 is out, and big things are happening at this point here. So we definitely gotta check it out. I'll definitely hunt for that book tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. Let me know if you can find it. I'd like to see if I can find it locally too, but I still can't find Volume 3.
You poor thing. You poor wet cat.
I don't really think that's the issue here. I think that I just need to give up and order it online.
I can't wait to read more of that. It's such a special series. The artwork is beautiful. The way they draw the characters. But I look forward to it. I look forward to reading more of it and see where it goes. I really appreciate it for being so open about understanding one's identity and presentation. It's it's very wonderful. There's just a bit where like a character is just like learning more about like their sexuality and trying to understand it and like where do they fall on. And it's kind of like it feels very otherworldly to see like snippets of like a social media and like the character using like pronouns in their bio. It like felt so specific to like what I see on social media, where like it's just like, oh yeah, this is like my specific group, specific following or people I follow. Though it is being more and more, but it's just like it's different. It hits different when you see in like media, like in manga, and then to see that progressively go on being slowly normalized.
Yeah, it's really nice.
I hope so too, because like this definitely would be like if it were in like a different type of medium or like a more niche, like just like indie comic online, it would definitely like not be thought about. But like for something to show up in like a published manga with like its own show and everything, it just like it hits better. It hits more. It hits better, and like it's a beautiful sign.
Yeah, we are sort of in the era of Yuri.
Mm-hmm.
And this it's very sweet. It's very thoughtful. It seems very thought out.
It is. It's like appreciates the aspect of cooking, but it goes beyond that with like discussing like, okay, what about a character who has difficulties with eating? Because like we've seen, like, yeah, food can bring us together, but what if food can cause issues for someone?
Yeah, it's true.
Mm-hmm. And it does cover that, which is very beautiful. It really is something that goes out to people who read this to emphasize, to learn to have empathy, to be more thoughtful of others, because of the way we grow up in a time where like a lot of people wouldn't say not be as courteous or as thoughtful.
Yeah, it's definitely right up there with list of like eye-opening Yuri.
Yeah, actually, yeah, definitely. That's right. You know what? I'm putting this on life-changing. Definitely life-changing.
Okay, you're upgrading it.
It was always there. I just needed to open my eyes and see.
Do you think there's anything that we've read or watched for Café Lily that you wouldn't have given a chance if we weren't doing this show?
You know what? Yeah, a lot of the Yuris I read, it's like I went out and look out for these Yuris. Like, okay, one about food, and then I would go out and find like the one with the midnight donuts, and the one where the two friends go out to eat like hearty foods. But definitely Sora and Hina was very important for us.
I'm glad you said it.
Of course.
I wouldn't have read that if you hadn't suggested that we do an episode about it.
Yeah, because like I read Sora and Hina, I was like, oh, this is sweet. And then when I read like the other stuff afterwards, like, oh wait, these two, J-In and Ah Young.
Ah, J-In and Ah Young. We owe them everything.
Yes, of course, they're insane. These two are insane. Wow. Like, I like Sora and Hina. I'm not gonna say it's like lesser than, but I think J-In and Ah Young gets like a vibe that just makes you really love it for how ridiculous it is.
Yeah, Sora and Hina, I don't think it's a lesser comic, but it's definitely less of what I like. I'm not always super into the straightforward high school Yuri story. But when you get two characters that are completely over the top,
yes,
that's what it's all about.
Over a top adults with issues. That's really funny. I think that's what it is. It's that like when they're with having them as adults, it kind of opens up a lot more stuff. Like Sora and Hina, they got it together by the time they're adults. But those two, they've been arguing for years, and they're still arguing, but now they know that they love each other for it.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm the same. I would say that most of what we've covered for the show, I probably wouldn't have read if it were not for you suggesting we do an episode of them. But I feel like I have a new appreciation for various different kinds of Yuri now. I feel like my eyes are opened to the breadth of the genre.
On top of like some fan-made doujin works too. We read those along the way too.
Yeah, we did. And we had so many friends on to discuss what Yuri is going on in their lives, and I'm always grateful for that. And I met Nova through this show. I didn't know Nova before you introduced me to him. So
now, as we were speaking, I see Nova's status. It was reminding me of Lore Quest 2 because it says Lore Quest 2, the squinkle, and then suddenly it changes and now saying, thinking about the bar furry with the Tropical Rouge shirt.
I don't even know what's going on there, and I still don't know.
Neither do I. I love Nova's status. It's always like really funny.
The only person on this platform that uses the status feature appropriately.
What are you trying to say about me?
I'm just saying that pregnancy thing was an issue a month ago. You gotta keep up.
I guess so, huh? I guess so.
So yeah, overall I gotta say that joining this podcast has been a very positive experience for me, and I'm very glad that you invited me to be on it.
Of course. Like, we were talking about Yuri a lot when we started. I mean, that's why the egg symbolizes, like, I have a Yuri idea.
Yes.
I mean, we wouldn't have Petal and Leaf without Café Lily.
Yeah, it's true. So, should I tell the story now of my perspective on how the podcast got started?
Yes.
Okay, so this was when StartCast was on that really long hiatus that it took last year. Mm-hmm. And my personal theory is that you were just really bored without StartCast and you wanted to do something else. I don't know.
You're right. And on top of that, I remember I was just like, oh my god, I haven't worked on drawing a blink. But yeah, I got really bored and we were very focused. And I felt, I've been engaging with a lot of Yuri. And you've been engaging a lot of Yuri. We've been talking about nothing but Yuri. So, it makes sense to just like start a Yuri podcast.
This is true, but I had to drag out of you that that's what you wanted to do. You came to me and we were talking about Yuri one day as usual, and you started huffing and puffing and you were sighing and you said to me, "Oh, Kelsey, I really like talking about Yuri with you, but this just isn't enough. If only there were a way that I could talk about Yuri and other people could listen. If only that was possible." And I said to you, "Rosa, are you going to start a Yuri podcast?" And then immediately, like within a split second, you said, "Yes, and I want you to be the co-host."
Oh yeah, I guess I was being roundabout and cheeky about it, huh?
Yeah, this is something you've done to me multiple times, by the way. I don't know if this is just how you ask everyone for things, or if you just know that being spontaneous like that really catches me off guard.
It's probably definitely mostly a you thing, because I know it's really funny when I do it to you.
Yeah, so that's how we decided we were going to do the podcast, and the cafe idea came around pretty quickly. I don't know if that's something that you'd already come up with before you approached me, but I think you initially wanted to call the show the Himejoshi Cafe, but then you later decided on Café Lily.
Yeah, there was I thought about a lot for like the name, because like I wanted a name that stuck out, that felt fitting for what we needed. So I tried out for like some French name. I knew I wanted to do cafe because it would be like, it felt fitting to do cafe instead, because it felt like natural to like talk about Yuri and reading and stuff within a cafe. And it also helps with like the theming of like the start cast.
Yeah.
Being a theater, and the Yuri Cafe is a Yuri Cafe, and Looney Doodles is in the basement. So it just helped fit the theming.
So a fun fact about the cafe is Rosa did the design for the cafe interior that is seen in the visuals. The design was inspired by the cafe in Avatar Sentai Don Brothers, because that had just recently wrapped up and we were both really into that at the time.
That's right. It's been a bit, but it was the main inspiration. It definitely gave. That's why I went for like that palette, even though it's like not 1-to-1. The placement of stuff was like like essential to like building up the look. And the characters you see inside were just like reuse of like models I made years ago.
Yes, love those. And the giant portrait of Luigi and DDD and their lesbian daughter.
Yeah, Himari. I just needed to fill out suit, and I felt like, this would be a good vibes. It's like, it's barely visible, so it's just funny. You really gotta look at it to understand what's going on.
I'm always standing in front of it.
Yeah. And like, in the back, we have like iconic Yuri couples. Of course, you got the two from Sailor Moon. And parallel to them is Yukari and Kira. And then you have Garnet and Marceline and Bubblegum. Those are the Oh yeah, Undyne and Alphys are there too.
Yeah, I think I wanted something there from video games, because this is partly a gaming channel.
In which we have fulfilled like the gaming quota with the Pokemon episode, so.
Yeah, well, we'll get around to some Yuri games eventually. We gotta look into that.
Technically we went with Larquest.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, there's plenty of Yuri games out there. We'll get onto them. Now, if I may tell another story.
Yeah.
Another thing is, when I agreed to do the show, I was not aware that it would be on the Startcast channel.
Yeah.
I assumed that you thought that went without saying, and it probably should have, but for some reason that just didn't cross my mind. I thought we were going to create a new YouTube channel and it was going to be a separate thing entirely. And one day we were talking about it and you said to me, no, this is going on Ready to Start show. And I had a moment of panic because I suddenly became very worried that you hadn't consulted Ryan about this. Which is completely irrational, I know. Like, there's no way. You tell Ryan everything. There's no way that would have happened.
Yeah, it's true. Of course, like, your fail bunch moments.
Right, thanks. So, I was very worried, and I said to you, Rosa, have you checked with Ryan that she's alright with the show going up on her channel? And you said, even if she's not, what is she going to do about it? And that was the moment where I knew that I was in trouble.
Either way, it worked out.
Yeah, it worked out and we're still here today, a year later.
Thank you all for joining this week's episode of Café Lily. We're your hosts, Rosa and Kelsey. Kelsey and Rosa. Any last words for our guests?
I hope you'll join us for another year of Yuri.
We hope to see more guests give us their favorite Yuris, talk about the Yuris they made. Who knows? We'll probably make a Yuri movie.
Definitely. I mean, we promised Elena that we'd help her with macaroni soup too.
Well, look forward to that, everyone. Have a good night. Get out!
Oh, okay.